It's Ron Goodall from FightHype.com. I'm here with Mr. Charles Conwell. How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good as it can go.
Now, seeing the fact that you've been an active fighter, you just had a fight recently, you've been in a camp training, and then you had a fight coming up, getting ready for showtime, and coronavirus comes through in the pandemic. How have you been kind of handling this whole situation and just being able to, continue the sport?
Man, to be honest, it's tough because you really can't do as much as you want to. Pandemic going around, but I'm surviving. I'm happy. I'm staying safe. My family's safe, so I'm appreciative of that.
And you're out in Cleveland now, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you train out in Toledo with Otha and O'Shea and things like that. And while you're out in Cleveland, do you do any type of home workouts? I know there's all these people doing the Instagram. Do you run a little bit? How do you continue to stay in shape and things like that?
Most I can really do is like cardio, run, jump rope, and like shadow box, things like that. That's mostly what I do. That's mostly what my workouts consist of.
Do you get the itch to miss sparring itself? Because I know there's only so much you can do just doing home workouts before you just kind of want to just test your skills and just measure out, your jabs and then just start going at it.
Yeah, I kind of miss hitting the bag. To be honest, I haven't hit the bag in a while since my training camp. So kind of miss hitting the bag and just let my hands go and let them just practice what I do and how I look and stuff like that. So I really miss that in the mix.
Now, with all this downtime, do you go back and get to watch some old footage? Have you got a chance to go and watch some of your favorite fighters and go through and break down fights? Or have you been watching movies or playing games? I'm assuming that you get a little relaxation with your body now.
I definitely I watch a little boxing. I don't like to go too far back. I really don't like really watching nothing past like really not in black and white, but that's some of the best fights. So I'm gonna start watching some of those maybe, and then I definitely watch TV shows and play the game too.
What games have you been playing? Have you been playing like 2K, or you been caught into the Call of Duty Warzone, or?
To be honest, I just got into. I really just got big into Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone, so I just really got into playing those two games.
Now I know your stablemate Otha is really big in Fortnite, and he was saying that he's the best Fortnite player amongst his people. Do you play with him, and does he really, or do you have to help him out in those bad situations?
Man, he's been playing longer than me. I just really started playing, but I feel like I'm getting better and I'm getting better and fast. So he's probably still better than me now. He got all the little cool stuff, like the little skins and all that kind of stuff. I'm coming slowly but surely.
It'd be nice if they came out with a new Fight Night game, right?
Yeah.
If I'm sure if they came out with one, they got to put you in it, right? And got to make sure the stats are correct.
Of course, man. They got to put they got to put some prospects and contenders on the game, man, to make it fun, make it exciting. I definitely let it be on there.
What would your stats be? How would you break your stats down?
I'd be like a light 99, man. Light 99, nothing too much.
Yeah, just a little modest, just in the 90s, no big deal. So, just kind of gearing up with your future plans in boxing. By any chance, if this whole coronavirus thing kind of goes away, are you still scheduled to fight your opponent on Showtime, or is it unknown right now, and what would happen in the near future on your next opponent?
To be honest, I really don't know. My team's been reaching out to me, but they was just reaching out to me to make sure I'm safe, make sure I'm okay, make sure that my family's okay. They've just been keeping up with me on that status. They really haven't been really talking too much really about boxing. They just make sure I'm okay, make sure my family's safe and stuff like that. So.
And seeing that you are starting to be on a lot of people's top prospect lists. I've been seeing you coming up. From the Olympics to now, everyone's throwing you in there with all these next contenders, next world champions in the sport of boxing. When you start seeing riders put your name into those type of things now, how does that make you feel? Do you feel like you're getting the respect and notice, or do you feel like that you have a long way to go before that you can prove to the fans that you're one of the best in the sport?
I feel like it's a little light shedded on me, like a little bit, but it's still a lot. It can be a lot more. Like you said, I feel like I'm one of the best prospects out, or best contenders out. I'm making waves. I'm fighting on TV a lot. I'm gonna start fighting on TV a lot more. So I'm just really just trying to put myself more on the map, get myself more known, so people can recognize how great of a talent I am too, as well as all the other prospects and world champion.
Now you're moving up through the rankings very well. I believe you're ranked number 11 in the IBF in your division. On the champions, Jason Rosario. Obviously this whole coronavirus is going to postpone like the time frame, but if things come along and get moving a little bit, how long do you think that you're going to be facing maybe former champions or top contenders or even the champions themselves?
I was planning on doing that kind of stuff like at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So since the coronavirus pushed everything back like 4 or 5 months, so we're planning on doing it 2021 now. But we was planning on doing it at the end of this year, start taking ex-world champions and ex-contenders and stuff like that. So we're going to start pushing for those type things probably sometime early next year.
And seeing that the division has pretty much opened up, it kind of had this face at one point, maybe two, with like a Jared Hurd and Charlo, it's what everyone, but now it went all over the place. They had an upset, kind of, I guess Patrick Teixeira won the title. I don't think people chose him to win that. Jason Rosario just dethroned J-Rock after, J-Rock dethroned Hurd, and to pick up a couple titles. And then Jamel Charlo, who avenged his loss, but went back and forth with Tony Harrison and maybe even a trilogy in that factor. Do you feel that, there is not, a number one guy in the division? You think it's fair to say that there's a lot of opportunities for you to come and take?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of opportunities. Like you said, the titles are getting tossed and turned. There's a lot of different guys winning the titles. That's like you said, that you didn't expect to win the title. So I'm for sure one of those guys that can win a title and surprise a lot of people and be the world champion.
And just seeing that, because it's like tossed around so much. Just curious though, who do you think is probably like the top guy as in right now, based off the previous performances that we've seen in that division?
Top guy in that division is probably Charlo, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Charlo probably the top guy in that division.
Do you think that if him and Jason Rosario went to unify, that Charlo would win?
Yeah, I definitely think Jason Rosario would. I definitely think Charlo would beat Jason Rosario. I like Charlo better, so I'm definitely going with Charlo.
What do you think of that J-Rock fight with Rosario? Did you think that may have been not make excuses, but like, was that something on J-Rock's end that maybe he didn't prepare properly, or was it just Jason Rosario's style that gave him problems, and that was the reason?
I think it was Jason Rosario's style. I definitely think it was Jason Rosario's style. I knew that coming into that fight it was gonna be a good fight. Dude was strong. He's got good will, and he come in the fight. So, he's like he said. I was watching like the little pre-fight, little 24/7 like type thing. And he was just saying like how he's been training for so long. He was training like since like 2019 or like way earlier. And he was just waiting, finally waiting on this moment, and he got it. He took advantage of it. So I knew that he had a lot of compassion, and he was really serious about winning the title. So I knew that he could go in there and do it.
Now, Oh, I'm losing visual of you, champ. Now, seeing that these titles are all over the place, and you're seeing that Charlo could probably get the nod at that. Do you see that these guys are going to be at that weight by the time you get there? Because it's awfully big 154 pounders. Do you see these guys moving up and see yourself potentially facing someone else for these titles?
Uh, I definitely see some of them moving up. I might get in there like at the back end, maybe probably like one or two last fights in the division. But I think some of these guys are definitely going to end up moving up eventually and going to 160 for sure.
Who do you think are some of the people that you might cross paths with? The division starting to get filled with talented guys like you. I know, Chuck Simpson's in the division and Joey Spencer's. And do you see yourself crossing paths with any of those guys?
Yeah, I definitely do, man. I feel like they're a little like after me. They're like a year or two after me, but definitely those guys are definitely the future talents of the 154 division if they can stay around themselves. So I definitely do see them if they're around that we're challenging each other for world titles soon. Well, later, more sooner than later.
And of course, the 147 division has a couple guys, potentially moving up, like Arrows. He seems like a guy who's eventually going to make the 154. Danny Garcia has been talking about, maybe trying to unify or capturing a title at a point and try to move up to 154. Maybe Sean Porter might go up to 154. Do you want any of those fights if those guys came up in the 154 division and try to test the waters? And do you think that would be a bad idea if they came across you?
Yeah, for sure, man. Any fight that give me to a world title or give me a world title shot, I'm definitely willing to take it at the right time, at the right moment, if the situation's right, for sure. But I don't think those guys gonna come up right now. I think they're gonna wait till the other guys like move up, and then they'll eventually move up. But I'll for sure take a fight with those guys too.
And just curious because you are 154. You're really young. Do you see yourself eventually having to leave 154 at a point while your body's growing? And where do you see yourself kind of ending career-wise?
I can see myself going up a weight class or maybe even one down. I really don't know. It really all depends, but not no time really soon. Like you said, I'm young, but I feel like I can manage this weight class for more years to come. Then eventually maybe moving up, or sometimes maybe even fighting at a catchweight or anything like that. Just if the right fight presents itself in the right situation, I definitely end up fighting at a catchweight or moving up or moving down.
And seeing how you got to compete in the Olympics, and you're doing very well professionally, and you have an undefeated record with a tremendous 12-0, 9 knockouts, and then get some really solid opponents as well. When you look from the foundation when you came from the Olympics and you see kind of what's going on in the sport of boxing with this coronavirus, do you reach out to some of the next kind of guys in the next crop that's coming up and having to kind of postpone their dreams and careers to compete, in there and seeing that this is on hold now?
I really don't talk to like a lot of guys from different states, but people from my city or like Ohio, period. I talk to those guys like Delonte Johnson and O'Shea Jones. I talk to those guys. I know them personally. I know them like all my life, so I talk to those guys and just hear what they have to say and just see the thing that they're posting and talking about. And I just try to get motivation and different stuff like that to continue or just to fuck their dreams. Whatever their dreams for, whatever they want to do, I just do to follow their dreams and just go after.
Do you feel when you were in the Olympics and in the amateurs that helped build your foundation and gave you really great memories? Do you cherish those?
Oh yeah, for sure. Fighting through the Olympic process definitely gave me a lot of experience, a lot of different like just a lot of different life experiences as well. Like just going to other different countries, seeing all different type of people, lifestyles and cultures, gave me a lot of life experiences and boxing experience. So I definitely took that to the program and cherished it and took it keeping those memories like for life.
And seeing one of your stable mates, back then, Shakur Stevenson, and seeing, how, he recently captured a title, and seeing that that's from your crew and stuff. And I see you smiling right there. Like, does that make you feel good? Do you talk to Shakur here and there, and you guys reach out when you can?
Oh yeah, I definitely try to reach out to Shakur as much as I can through social media. I don't call him, but that's my boy, man. I'm definitely proud of him. I love seeing the things that he's doing. I was watching when he won the title. I watched all his fights. I still got love for my teammates. I love watching all their fights and seeing them doing good on TV and whatnot. And it just give me motivation. Like, man, I was just with him or I was just with her, and they doing that. But I know definitely I'm up next for sure. Yeah. Stay down the path that I got for me. I'm definitely there next.
And I guess because it's I kind of like digging into the history a little bit and learning a little bit more of you guys' backgrounds. And when you guys were coming to amateurs, like, did you guys have any like funny stories coming up? Like, did you just throughout the dorms or traveling, and just I can only imagine a group of talented boxers. It just has to be rambunctious, and you guys have some fun memories.
Oh yeah, definitely for sure. I had a lot of fun memories with those guys, man. Some stuff, you keep it on the down low, so I wouldn't really say too much, but we definitely had some fun memories. I remember a lot of stuff that the dudes was doing. They just had hilarious moments and just real down to earth moments too as well with all of them. So it was good just to chill with them and just see them doing good after all the whole year process. We've been together on the team, so that was awesome too. Plus, I've been with some of them from the youth to the elite team too as well. We were such a young team, so I got to see some of them.
Like young, like throughout like the nationals and things like that.
Like 16, 17, 15, all that.
Who was just curious, like, because everyone has like a class. Like, who outside of like your Olympic team, like who now, if the fight fans don't know, is part of your class? Like, you came up, saw, and watched. Like, how there's like the Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney's, like that was their little class coming up. Like, who's in your class for the fans who don't know?
Who's in my class? Yep. Tia Female, Shakur, myself. Got Clarissa in there. Michaela Mayer, Gary Russell. It was a whole lot of us. It's a whole lot of us. A lot of us for sure.
And that's like Antoine, right?
Yeah, Antoine. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's like so many Russells. Like, just like, wait, which one? So, seeing that a lot of these people have been going and winning titles and progressing, and like I think Michaela Mayer is getting close, you're getting close, and stuff like that. Do you think this is going to be that next reign of Crops and you that's going to dominate the sport for the next 5, 6 years, 7, 8?
Yeah, for sure. Anybody who's around, like, I feel like it's like 22, 23, exclude like the people who stayed around for the Olympics again after trying the first time. But anybody who was like 22 or 23, like right now, those are the people that came up around my class, 21, 22, 23. They're that age. Those are the people who came around my class who was doing their thing for real. So it's a lot of us though. It's even people older than me that just stayed for the Olympics and then turned pro in like 2015 or 16 after the trials and stuff like that. So there's even people then that was part of my class with the term professional before me. Jerron Ennis.
Yep, Boots. And I think Brandon Lee might be around, or is he a little bit younger?
But he definitely turned pro like around that time, yeah, for sure.